And welcome everybody to another episode of Come Play With Us, Danny, the horror movie review podcast and news show. Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we're recording at a good time because it is October. We're getting closer and closer to Halloween. Megan and I said, hey, why don't we just do a show?
Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
And why not bring on our good friend of the show, Drew, who's got a ghost in his house because the light in his room keeps going on and off.
There we go.
Now he's back again. Yay!
He's not hurting anyone. Welcome.
No, of course not. Of course not. Well, welcome back in, everybody. Of course, make sure to go to our YouTube page at Come Play With Us Danny Show. Hit the subscribe and notification bell when new episodes drop. And I'm not going to promise you when the next one's going to be, but whenever there's a new one that drops, you'll get a notification, and then you'll listen to it, and then you'll tell your friends and do all that stuff. So anyways, we've got a great jam-packed show tonight. We're going to review Longlegs, the anticipated horror film that came out a couple months ago. We've got movie news, tons of movie news, and we're going to do something special at the end of the show. We're going to do our top 3 or our favorite horror movie theme songs that maybe get you creeped out whenever you hear it. It may be a ringtone, or when you're on YouTube scouring the internet, or when you're in your house and magically comes on by Alexa because she's an AI-driven thing and she might want to creep you out one day. So anyways, let's get into Longlegs. Longlegs. Longlegs is a 2024 American horror film written and directed by none other than the son of Norman Bates himself, Osgood Perkins, Anthony Perkins' son. It stars Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage, Blair Underwood, and Alicia Witt. It is set in the 1990s, and it follows an FBI agent tasked with tracking down an occultist serial killer responsible for murdering multiple families throughout the state of Oregon. Now,
that's really fucking random is Oregon. It's
Oregon. Oregon's got plenty of murderous occultists out there. Oregon,
apparently.
Okay, so I know it's a mixed bag with us three because I know, Drew, you liked it, right?
I did.
You liked it. Megan and I, not so much. But there are things which I will go over, which I can appreciate in this movie. But that's it. There's a couple things I can appreciate, and that's it. And then the rest of the film is kind of. So, Drew, I wanted to start with you on why you like this movie.
I really liked the atmosphere. What you were saying before about Osgood Perkins, I only found that out after seeing the film. And I did recognize his face from around, but I didn't know he was Anthony Perkins' son.
Yeah, because he was originally an actor. He's been in a bunch of like films where you're kind of like, oh, he's kind of like in the background. He's like a background guy. And
I think I recognize him from Legally Blonde.
Yeah, that's one of the roles he was in, was Legally Blonde. And when I found that out, I'm like, oh, okay, he's that guy. Because I remember his face. And then finding out he's Anthony Perkins' son was kind of like, okay, that's cool. Anthony Perkins' son is going to direct a horror film.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
now, please go on.
In terms of that, I really loved the atmosphere that he created, straight up, from the handheld cam, the old school footage at the very beginning. I knew Nicolas Cage was in it, and I had been kept in surprise as to what his actual part was and what he looked like, which is one of the best things about it. He brought it home as usual. I did think it was a little abstract in its presentation of the story, but I also think that kind of worked in its favor as well. It didn't spoon feed the audience like a lot of horror films tend to do. You had to think about it for yourself, and then afterwards think about it, which I definitely did on the way home. So I saw it in the middle of winter at the drive-in movie, and there had been a really long string of terrible horror films, so I found it very refreshing.
Okay.
Megan?
Yeah.
Okay. So I went into this movie kind of with an open mind, only because when you have trailers for a movie that are really, really, really good, and I thought the trailers for this was amazing, and they set out so many trailers They promoted it. There was a phone number that you would call. There was fucking billboards. There was all kinds of things. Yes.
Didn't know
So
any of that.
when you start, yeah, it's here in the States, that's what they were doing. So when a movie for me has been that much publicized, it could either go one or two ways. It could either be really fucking good or it could really fucking suck. So for me, I had to go into it with an open mind, and it was kind of a letdown. Mainly because I think there could have been so much more to the movie, if that makes sense. I did like the way it was shot. I do have to agree with Drew on that one. The way it was shot was really good. I do like the older, grainier camera work and stuff like that. I do not like Micah Monroe. The way that her acting was too robotic for me. I just did not enjoy the way that she had this weird, robotic, mousy persona.
She's on the spectrum. She's on the spectrum.
I don't know.
I thought that, but also, the control that they had over her brain. Do you think she was just figuring that out, and we didn't know until the very end?
Probably, and then even then, in that sense, that was just really fucking weird for me too. Like she had this spell that was casted over her. Like again, there was too many things for me that were left too open-ended and not enough explanation. Like I didn't want them to give me the whole story at hand, but you leave too many things open in that sense. As far as the character for Nick Cage is hit or miss with me. I really liked him in Willy's Wonderland because he didn't fucking talk. And I liked him in his older movies. All his newer movies that he's done have really made me, except for Renfield. I did actually enjoy him in Renfield. But the other movies he's done, I just can't get with his acting. He, to me, is a dried up actor. And I think that sorry for all the Nick Cage fans out there. I just don't think that this part was made for him. And the way they did his prosthetics, it could have been done better. Like, what the fuck was he supposed to? Why did he look like that? What was he supposed to be?
Bill meets Marilyn Manson. That's what I thought.
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Evan said that he said in an interview that he was supposed to look like a cross between his mother and Marilyn Manson. And I looked up his mother, and I was like, that's really weird looking. But okay, so I get that. That's fine. But I figured that he'd be more shocking looking because of the whole like fucking hand situation and whatever. Like, I get that. Whatever. And I just think that there could have been more concept to his character because now you've left it open. Like, you've left it open because there's no explanation of where he came from and what the situation was. Like,
yeah, but do you really want that though?
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of want an explanation of where he came from. I'm like, what? Like, I understand that he's supposed to be an agent of Satan or whatever it was, but I want more information on that. I want more information to know why he chose who he chose, where the fuck he came from, and where his background was. Okay. But
that
like,
usually divides fandoms, though, don't you think? Like
it does.
When Rob Zombie did it with Michael Myers.
It does, and I agree on that most definitely because you can either do it really well, or you can really fuck it up.
Yeah, but I think in the case of what Rob Zombie did with Michael Myers was,
he went too
Zombie tried to like make him more human than trying to be just the shape.
Yeah.
But if you try to do it with Longlegs, and Megan and I kind of talked about this before the show, was if you want to continue on this universe of Longlegs, you'd have to go prequel only, and you'd have to explain why or how he became the way he was. Yeah. So you wouldn't even have, I don't even know if you could bring back Nick Cage because he said, this is it. I'm done playing like violent people. Like, you would have to like get a younger actor who could try and pull that performance off to explain why he is the way he is. So
I don't even know who the hell you could get to play that part. Who would actually?
I'm kind of on the I'm the opposite, Megan. I'm glad they didn't explain why the way he is, because it leaves that element of mystery of, hey, this is some guy. He's got a background in the occult. He's a Satan worshiper. We don't really need a backstory. He's just doing the work of the devil. And that's and to me that was fine. I don't need a whole like background of this dude. Like, hey, maybe he's from Missouri and he just fell into the wrong type of crowd and smoked a lot of weed and peyote and stuff like. I don't need that. Like maybe just some people are just crazy and stuff like that. You know.
Okay, I get that.
So on my, I can appreciate a couple things with Longlegs. And Megan, you touched it too. Like the marketing for this film was fantastic. And we talked about this on previous shows. Was like they didn't give away a lot. The teaser trailers were great. They just showed maybe a couple of things, and you were like, okay, what is this movie about? And then as it got closer to the release date, the trailers kept kind of really amping it up a little bit. And I appreciate that. Like even having that number you can call and listen to Nick Cage on the phone doing his character was a little creepy.
Yeah.
So leading up to it, there was so much hype, and then watching it, it was a big letdown to me because you if you really paid attention, you figured out like the end game of it. You kind of knew like her mom was involved with this somehow because I love Alicia Witt. She's a great character actor now, and you can plug her into any kind of role, and she knocks that out of the park. But when they first introduced her, you kind of knew something was going on. You know, and it kind of ruined that for me because it's like, okay, well, the mom's probably in cahoots with Longlegs. Yeah, her mom's probably nuts somehow. And performances overall were like from, Maika Monroe, she's just wooden to me, and I don't know what kind of character she was trying to put out of Harker was. Okay, maybe she was under that spell, but I don't know, man. What didn't do it for me, and just Nick Cage just overdid it. It was too much Nick Cage. If he would have toned it down just a tad, and maybe if the makeup of his face wasn't as distracting as it was when the reveal of him was, then maybe I could get into the movie more. But like to me, it was kind of boring. It wasn't really scary at all. But the other things I can appreciate it too. It was shot beautifully. It was shot great. The atmospheric tone of it was great. But it wasn't scary. It was kind of slow, and it was just kind of like
there was like one or two jump scares, but it wasn't like
the scene where they go into the barn during that storm.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Was kind of like the best part for me to when you have that atmospheric tone of, okay, they're going in this barn, something bad's gonna happen. And then ultimately nothing really happened. They found like another mannequin. So, I tried to like it, and I tried to watch some clips on YouTube lately just to kind of maybe rewatch it a little bit, but it's just it's one of those movies where the hype was so big, and when I saw the movie, I was just let down because it was just and when you're saying, oh, this is a new brand of horror film, I'm like, is it though? I think we've seen this before. We've seen this before.
We've seen this in several forms. Like this is another horror movie that's been taken from other horror movies that had. So there was supposedly an element of Seven in there, which
I can see that,
and Silence of the Lambs, I think.
Yeah, more Silence of the Lambs than anything. Yeah,
it was like more Silence of the Lamb-esque. Like there,
but the seven element was there because he didn't like Longlegs' character. He didn't kill anybody. He had other people kill.
Yeah.
So that's that seven element where I'm having other people do my dirty deeds. What I really thought was a cool thing, and if you caught it throughout the movie, was it was really subtle in the background. They had kind of silhouettes of a dark presence in the background. If you really notice those throughout the film, they were there, and if you pick them up, you're like, oh, there's something in the background, and it's like a silhouette of a demon. If you really did you pick that up at all, Drew?
No, I didn't, but I will rewatch now.
Rewatch it, and there's certain points of the movie where you'll see something kind of like in the background, or it's something that kind of like in the TV in the background at her mom's house. It's in that, and there's a couple other spots too. I like those types of things where you really have to pay attention where things are not what they seem. But I just the kills overall, it just wasn't. It just didn't do it for me, man. I just, it was like, okay.
Yeah, I walked out of the theater like, well, that's all right.
Yeah. My wife and I were both like, My wife's like, you took me to another stupid horror film. She's like, first it was Barbarian, and now this.
Oh God.
She's like, never again, never again.
In terms of the trailer, like you mentioned before, I liked the one with the heartbeat. Did you see that one?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
one
really
was
cool.
good. Yeah.
I
That
think
was
I
cool.
think the phone number that they gave out, I actually thought that was really kind of cool because there has been several movies in the past, and I'm talking about like 1990s movies, that I think that you could call a number and it would give you, and I can't remember what movie it is, that you would call a number and it would give you like a trailer in the back, like somebody talking to you. And
Hello and welcome to Movie Phone.
that wasn't movie phone,
That wasn't Movie
but
Phone.
there was a
Good.
there was a couple horror movies that they did that for, and I actually thought that was really smart marketing, was to get people to call this number. And it was Nick Cage. It was Nick Cage talking through the phone, and he was in Longlegs' voice saying different phrases, which I thought was really cool because they still hadn't given away anything of the movie. It was another smart, type of ploy, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the almost birthday girl.
There you go. Yep.
Tell
Yeah.
your mama, tell your daddy.
I appreciated that. I know you guys did it, but I very much did. I thought
So-
I love watching people do that on film. Just go
So
off
like
top.
that performance was so over the top for me. I didn't know whether to laugh or just kind of sit and stare like what the fuck I was watching, because and then afterwards, if you watched online, like there were so many parodies of that song and like the different songs. Like what was the if you let me in now, it'll be great. And if you make me go away, I have to come back. And like I've seen several fucking parodies of that online, and everybody's taken to a different area.
You know what Osgood should have done was take the full 7 route and don't reveal him until the interrogation scene.
That would have been
Like
great.
don't even show, like when he went into that store and was talking to that young girl at the counter. Don't even show like wait until the interrogation scene to reveal him.
Yep.
But yeah, I think what really turned me off was just when you see him finally, it's just the makeup. He looked like
Elephant Man.
not even Elephant Man. It just looked like it almost looked like he had a bad reaction to like a bee sting, and his face was too puffy. He had puffy face.
An EpiPen.
Yeah, he had puffy face. It looked like he had a nut allergy.
Oh God.
And his face puffed up, and that's what it looked like to me. It wasn't even like I know that trailer where they stuck that heart monitor to her.
Yeah.
And her heartbeat kept going up. Really, are you really that scared of Nick Cage and that makeup that your heart's racing that bad? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I didn't
Probably
think
nerves
I
for
didn't.
performance as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
who
I
knows
can
yeah.
see that.
I didn't find
appreciate
him horrifying at all.
I
I just thought he looked funny.
I just thought he may have needed to be out in the sun a little bit more. And maybe
And
not,
I-
maybe
see-
not
opening
even.
scene we mentioned earlier, the opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the handheld camera. I really liked how he only
Yeah, and they cut it
image
off.
framed just his mouth, because that image stayed with me. I froze a little.
Yeah,
So
and
I
that was
think
that was
it's
kind of
very-
weird. That was a great way of shooting that. But when they were like completely revealed his face, I was like, well, this is it.
Yeah, and
This
he
is
was
what we
always
get?
like like he wanted to dance and stuff. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
crazy person.
He just wanted to dance. Just wanted to
Well,
dance.
that's why they call him Longlegs, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
And
It's a
see,
bit
they
more
never
scary than fancy.
revealed why his name was Longlegs. I wanted to know why his name was Longlegs.
Well, Nick Cage is pretty tall. I mean, he's like 6'4". So
Well, then he even says in that part, he was like, I should have put my long legs on.
Yeah.
I-
Daddy
What the
Longlegs, the creepy
supposed to mean?
spider. I don't know.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? You didn't
I
have your
don't-
long legs on when you came over here? You weren't fucking prepared? What's happening?
that's another thing
isn't
that you're trying to figure out of
Yeah.
in this movie.
It's kind of
It's just-
cool. Weird.
Yeah.
I'm always here for weird. Maybe that's why I liked it more than you guys did.
That's probably why. Like, I like weird, but
I
mean,
like weird, but like when you have movies like this and then Skinamarink where it's just like
oh God,
it's
please
it's
don't.
too weird where it's like, come on.
Please
Like
don't.
where's the payoff? It's like, man, come on.
The Chainsaw Wars were very disappointing.
Yeah. So okay.
Okay, next.
All right. Movie news. All right, we're going to movie news. Universal Orlando is going to unveil the Epic Universe featuring Monster Theme Park, which opens in May of 2025.
I'm
May
excited.
May 22nd, 2025, which you'll have the Universal Monster themed universe where, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the creature from the Black Lagoon are all
Dracula.
going to be Dracula. So I'm glad that they're reeling back in the classic monster movies of the good old golden age of Universal movies, and they're going to be at Universal Orlando. I didn't say anything about Universal California, so suck it, California. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. All right. I'm looking forward to that because one of one of my favorite houses was the year before last when they had that Universal Monster house that we went into. That was really cool.
So this year I went to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights, and they had the Universal Bloodlines house, which was supposed to be based on the descendant of not Jonathan Harker. Who was the one? Who was the vampire hunter?
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. So Van Helsing's daughter, it was supposed to be based around her. It was an okay house. Like, it was cool. A lot of houses this year actually were based on a lot of animatronics. So it was decent. I didn't say it wouldn't be 100% good, but it was a decent house.
Okay. All right, one franchise that maybe needs to stop, which I think they are going to stop after this one, The Conjuring: The Last Rites. Filming has begun on the franchise's final installments. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are back for the last time in The Conjuring: Last Rites, which will release in theaters September 5th of next year. Glad they're finally shutting the door because it's been milked enough.
I know you don't like it. I love the Conjuring universe. The Conjuring universe is my favorite.
I like 1 and 2. 1 and 2 were great. The Nun Part 1 was good. Other than that, it's like Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It was just I was like,
it wasn't that one. That wasn't bad. The Nun 2. Drew, did you see any of these movies? Did you see The Nun 2?
All of them.
So The Nun 2 was
Listen,
like,
The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It was like the Joker de la Fleur. It was a court case that dealt with like a possession.
Yeah, I know. Drew, what did you say about The Nun?
I thought the second was an improvement on the first, to be honest.
So the only reason I didn't like the second one is because I am a big catalyst. I hate watching movies in the dark. Like, I hate when they're shot so much in the dark that I can't see
anything.
I can't see what the
That's
fuck I'm looking at.
That's our eyes. I feel the same.
Oh, I fucking hate that shit. Like, that is the worst thing in the world. And that's Nun 2. It was too much in the dark. So I couldn't see half of what I was trying to look at. Like, if it was, and I didn't really like how the origin story was. But anyways, I'm off on a tangent. I like the Conjuring universe. I like it better than the fucking Insidious universe, where they should have died out long before they did the last one. Now, the Red Door was actually pretty good.
It's on Netflix right now.
It's actually good.
You
didn't, Drew. Oh, Drew! Wait, Drew didn't like it.
You
didn't like it?
Opinions. No, because the Red Door had a character, the boy, the son, searching for an answer to a question that we, as the audience, already knew. So an hour of BS. No thanks. Didn't they give us something we could get into?
That's true.
We knew
that is very true.
Yeah. So that's true. I found that.
I just like the special effects, and I think that the special effects were the best in that movie, honestly, because I'm always a big fan of the special effects, whether the storyline is shitty or not. I actually am a big fan of that. So that's why I like the movie, not necessarily the storyline. So go on.
All right, we've got some remake news.
Oh God.
Which
please no.
If you can guess the movie, then
can we have a hint?
Clues. Yeah.
What's up? I can't give you a hint because you'll probably know it. It has a great soundtrack. There you go.
That's not a hint.
Has a great 1980s soundtrack.
1980s. Is it Lost Boys? That's what Drew said? Is it Lost Boys?
Not Lost Boys, no.
A 1980s soundtrack.
Yes. The main actor has gone on to play Batman. Or went on to play Batman.
The main actor?
The main actor went on to play Batman. The only Batman to have a trilogy with the same Batman actor.
American Psycho.
There you go. American Psycho is being remade or reimagined.
Oh.
Yes,
What
it's
for? There's no
happening.
need.
Thank you. What the fuck
No
for?
need.
That's happening. Director Luca Guadagnino, who did Bones and All Challengers, and did the remake of Suspiria, will be directing a brand new interpretation of the 1991 book American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis.
No,
So
thank
it
Leave
is
it
happening.
alone. Leave
Nope.
it alone.
Yes. I don't know why you want to do a reimagining of a classic film. What are you going to set it in 2020? Where you can't get away with anything nowadays?
That's so stupid. Why would you take one? That is one of the most iconic movies, and why would you even attempt that? That's dumb.
I don't know how they're gonna do if they're unless you set it in another time period. You can't do it. You can't do it. Can't do it. Hey, you know what? Set it during the time during COVID. There you go.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Who are they gonna?
Part, but
No one's been announced as who's going to be Patrick Bateman, or if they're even going to do the Patrick Bateman character at all. But a new reimagining of American Psycho.
Oh God, people are.
It'll probably be a Patricia Bateman. It'll be a woman this time. No offense, Megan.
Oh, I'm none taken because
Okay.
I would not even see it, even if it was a fucking woman. That's just dumb. You can't take a movie like that. Like that irritates me to no end. Like that's like remaking Jaws. Like why would you do that?
It's a Hollywood.
they're very rarely an improvement, these remakes. They
No.
very rarely are.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing when they redid movies from the 60s and 70s when we were children. Our parents probably thought the same thing. Or we redid them in the 90s when we were children from the 60s and 70s.
If you're going to do a remake, then you're going to have to add more scenes from the book, which a lot of those scenes you can't really get away with nowadays. So if you try and do like a remake like they did Psycho, which everybody knew how that worked out, like you wouldn't be able to do it. Like there's so much more in the book that they didn't have in the first movie itself, but a lot of those scenes they couldn't put in the movie because they were so like, oh, we can't really do that. That's a lot of this shit was fucked up. So you can't put that in the movie. So I don't know how they're gonna do this unless they're gonna just take the source material itself and go, okay, this is gonna be called American Psycho, but it's not really American Psycho. What other way are you going to do it? There's no other way unless you try and set it in a different time period and say, okay, this is Patrick Bateman or it's somebody else. I don't know how they're going to do this.
I feel like they're going to probably try to set it in modern day because a lot of
There's
these
no
movies...
way. There's no way.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, but like how I can see this happening. Patrick Bateman is going to be a TikTok star, and he's going to be jealous of everybody's TikToks, and he's going to off all the TikTok stars that have how the business card scene. Oh my God, the off paint white, the eggshell pattern. It's going to be like that. Instead of the business card scene, is going to be I'm going to show these different TikToks, and he's going to get mad about the TikToks.
You want to bet money? That's probably what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah, and they can bill me when they steal my idea. So
I can't.
I'm just going to ignore that completely, the whole remake.
I hope you do.
That's really disappointing.
I'm not even a big fan of American Psycho at all, and I'm not a big fan of Christian Bale at all. But I know how iconic it is and how many of my friends really enjoyed it. And from the clips I've seen, just leave it alone.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
Easton Ellis, it's very much a time and era.
Yeah.
So leave that era alone. And I'm sure that I think if they did remake it, they would set it in the 80s, but still,
why do it? Leave it alone. Yeah.
You're just gonna fuck it. You're just gonna fuck it up. Like there's no way. Just like taking these movies that, like, sorry, I know. Has everybody seen Beetlejuice?
No, not yet, but I'm going to.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
Okay,
but I just feel like that was a movie they shouldn't have touched because, and I'll just leave it at that. But these movies that they're trying to make of the 90s and 80s movies, like, I get it. You want everybody nowadays to have an idea that's more relatable to them. But you have to think that a lot of these movies that we saw as kids and teenagers, nobody remade remakes. Like, some of them were remakes, but a lot of them were originals. And they didn't try to set it in a certain time. Like, it was left in that time. Like, you can't transform a movie like it was in the 70s and put it into now, it's going to look ridiculous. So you can't keep trying to relate everything to nowadays. Just leave it in the past, like how it is.
There's one cool idea you can maybe do, but it would be hard to pull off. Is you could do a sequel to the original American Psycho, because at the end of the film, it's pretty much left wide open to interpretation about
It is
his psychological brain.
well, his
So you
well-being.
his well-being. So you could jettison that movie and set it, 40 years into the future, into the 2020s, about
Mhm.
how Patrick Bateman is now. I mean, you
Mhm.
can definitely do that, but it'd be really hard to pull off. But to
I-
remake it, it's
Definitely have an unpopular opinion. American Psycho 2 with Mila Kunis. I loved it.
No.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
I've actually never seen the second one.
Don't.
So.
It's one of the biggest piece of craps out there.
I thought she was fantastic. I really did. I loved all of it. I love the twists and the turns.
No.
Yeah,
I love Mila
it.
Kunis. She's a great comedic actress, but no. She was great in Black Swan too, but like American Psycho 2. Wasn't William Shatner in that movie too?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Captain Kirk himself in the movie. Like, come on, man.
I really enjoyed it. I know that's very unpopular.
I haven't seen it in a while, Drew. Is the premise of it she survived the attack from Patrick Bateman, and didn't she like kill him or something like that?
Yes. So she was maybe the babysitter. She was being babysat by one of the victims.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And she stopped Patrick Bateman. Yeah, but I really loved it. It sort of had a little bit of Poison Ivy vibes to it as well.
First of all, how are you going to survive an attack from a homicidal maniac like Patrick Bateman, who can swing an axe like a baseball bat with it's.
Well, they did show, from what I can recall, that she was hiding and she sort of caught him off guard while he was busy with his victim. Yeah, she was a kid.
Just
I
no.
don't know.
Just no.
I can just remember thinking, yeah, love it.
No. All right, let's get into that's it for movie news. Now we're gonna get into our favorite horror movie themes. I'm actually gonna go first because I have mine all queued up. So,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Here we go.
You good? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the best,
Okay.
I think, themes ever was the theme from The Thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all you need. Tones. Dun, dun.
Yeah, that's it.
It's tones. Like I'm over the Halloween theme because it's been remixed and remade and remixed and mixed and mixed. Like that. Dun dun. Dun dun. If you play that in a dark alley, I'm running the other way. I'm not. That's My second favorite one is a movie I saw the other night, which I haven't seen in a long time. Is the theme to The Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, very nice.
Has that great 80s vibe with the synths and everything.
It does.
Yeah. I love the intro of this movie too because it's all the flashes and stuff like that. So great 80s theme of The Return of the Living Dead. My last one is actually a theme I used when I used to do DJ sets, my live sets over the internet back in the day. But is the theme to Shaun of the Dead at the very beginning of the movie.
That is one of the best songs.
Yes. It's a great phone ringtone too.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Meg, discussing the juxtaposition of very happy music based in a horror film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Cordettes, Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Just this like overly happy music that's actually sitting right next to grotesque imagery.
I like when horror movies do that. When they have that happy music, but it's like you don't like it's something bad's gonna happen. Even like the beginning of, and I should have picked this one. When the man comes around in the beginning of the title sequence of the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh yeah.
when Johnny Cash is when the
Yep.
man. That's I love that when it keeps cutting to like the zombies like running amok throughout the world and like how the world became to be, and that song playing in the background too. It's great. So, who wants to go next?
I can go next if you'd like. And I typed some of mine down if you can play them. I don't know if you can or not, but I'll go through the first one that I liked was the Shining main title song. I don't know if Evan can pull that up at all.
I can.
Okay.
I'll
if
do
you'd
it right
like to
now.
pull that in. All right.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
You know, YouTube with their their ads and stuff. There we go.
I'm a sucker for a good orchestra, so
Tones, man. It's the tones.
Mhm.
It's the tones.
It's that ominous type of
Ominous
music.
tones.
Yeah, it's ominous tones. That's all it is. It makes a horror movie. It doesn't even have to have words.
Yeah.
It's just the ominous tones of the greatest one.
One of my favorite shots of the film is when they're driving throughout the mountains and it's playing in the background where they're
Yeah.
driving to the hotel itself is one
Yep.
of my favorite shots of the whole film.
Yep. Very nice.
Mm.
The second one is Loomis and Shape's car. I don't know if you can pull this up or not. This is from obviously Halloween. I'm not going to go with the main thing. Can you pull this one up or no?
Yeah, I can pull it up. Yeah.
Okay.
I am
So
guilty of having listened to Laurie's theme many times.
Yes, I like
Yeah.
Laurie's theme. Laurie's theme is good. Well, this isn't supposed to be that, but there's that.
Said Loomis and Shape's car.
Yes, it's kind of it's when they're driving.
Yeah, it's in the rain. They're going to the
Yes.
hospital. This is it.
Yes, I know it's the main song for everything, but this is what I just the thing in general.
See, I can appreciate that because that's a good scene because they're driving in the rain up to the
Yes.
hospital and it gets more intense than the actual like theme.
Okay.
So I can appreciate it.
All right, I actually have two more. One of them is Portrait of Mr. Boogie. And for those who don't know, this is from the movie Sinister, who I thought this whole score to begin with was just fucking nasty in a good way, not a bad way. Yeah, and it was again, this is another movie that Evan and I have both talked about that is literally makes me
Creeped
my
out.
skin crawl. Like it's one of the movies that makes my skin crawl.
Ominous tones.
Yes. Horribly ominous tones.
Ominous tones.
Will it play?
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
That right there.
Yeah.
That right there makes just that tone to begin with just makes my fucking skin crawl. And the last one is Red Right Hand from
Oh, yeah.
Okay, everybody know who it is from Scream.
Oh, yeah. Nick
That's
Cave.
one of my Nick Cave,
Mr. Nick Cave himself. Yes.
Yes, one of my favorite scores from that movie, and one of the best songs. If you can pull that up too.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. It's YouTube and their stupid ads again.
YouTube, get with it.
Yeah. They'll probably pull this. They'll probably pull this episode because of copyrights, but you know.
Probably. Now, here's my other question to you, both of you, if you know this. This was used in another one of the Scream movies. Which one was it?
Well, it's pretty much been used in all of them. It was in 1 and 2.
Not all of them, though.
I think it was used in 1, 2, and 6, wasn't it?
It was 1, 2, and 4.
I thought they used it in 6 too.
It might be in 6, and I may have missed it, but I know it was 1, 2, and 4. It was used. Yes.
This is it's a great song because it's also used in Dumb and Dumber.
I don't recall that one.
Yeah, when Lloyd is walking down the street with all the supplies that he got with the beer and the big stupid hat.
Oh,
down the street, and then he gets robbed by a little old lady in a stroller.
Oh, yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, those are mine. Those are my scores.
It's a great song.
Drew, what you got?
Okay, we don't have to play clips for mine. I just had a little bit of a brainstorm. The first thing that came to mind was anything by Danny Elfman in Tim Burton films.
Yes.
I just think the atmosphere created Sleepy Hollow, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. I think they're amazing. And when they need to be quirky, they're quirky. When they need to be silly, they're silly, scary, all of it.
Yep.
From
I'm
my
glad that you
childhood,
said that, Drew, because the other day I rewatched Batman Returns, and in the beginning of Batman Returns, where the Penguin's mom and dad, they're going through the whole birth thing, and then their son's like a horrific monster, and that score at the beginning of Batman Returns is really good with the children in the background saying the and then it goes right into the Batman theme. I thought was really cool. So yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
another one.
Yes.
From the tones in that, and also the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, all of that.
Yeah.
And like Megan said, the use of pop music. So Red Right Hand. For me, this is very new, but it's the Goo Goo Muck in Wednesday. I just thought that was great.
Evan, did you see Wednesday?
I didn't watch the show, but that dance scene has been all over the internet. So yeah, it's a great. I think Fred Armisen, who's in that show, who plays Uncle Fester, suggested that song.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, that was a great pick. I mean, from the guy that was in Portlandia and SNL, and he plays Uncle Fester, and suggested that song to be played during the dance scene. I thought it was genius. Yeah, because I mean, it became a viral hit, that whole scene. So yeah,
Your daughter's gonna be Wednesday.
my
for
daughter's gonna be
Halloween.
Wednesday for Halloween, so I might have to play that while I'm taking them trick or treating. Is that
You should actually show her the actual.
I think she's seen
series.
it. She's
she
seen
seen
not.
it?
No, she can't see the series. It's a little too.
No,
scary.
but that dancing clip's fine.
That
but
dance
definitely
scene,
not
the
series,
the dance scene. I think she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The series isn't as bad as you think it is. The new
Well,
the second
not
second
children,
season.
like,
not for
definitely MA.
Yeah, not for a 6-year-old, Megan. Come on.
No,
I don't want to scar her for life.
far too scary.
The second season is coming out in February. So for those who
Can't wait.
haven't seen it, so February is the second season of Wednesday. So
Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you two, and I'm glad that we brought up Wednesday. Are we kind of all in agreement that Jenna Ortega pretty much plays the same character in every single thing that she's in?
I love how we always have differences of opinions, the three of us. I disagree.
Okay.
I thought people can tend to typecast actors, but I've seen her in a couple of things, and I thought she was always different. And I heard the comparison between her Beetlejuice character to Wednesday, and I just didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I get where people are coming from.
Okay.
I partially agree.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. her character, like Drew just said, her character compared in Beetlejuice to Wednesday there was no comparison, none whatsoever. Right. Her character in Wednesday was a complete and utter different character than she was in Beetlejuice. The Beetlejuice character was more down to earth. It was relatable. It was
a down to earth Wednesday. It was down to earth Wednesday.
She wasn't have like the dark, mysterious what she was supposed to be in Wednesday. That was a whole different character.
Yeah, she's down to earth Wednesday.
Her characters in the Scream series compared to her character in X, similar for me.
Okay. I forgot she was in X. I totally forgot she was in X.
Yeah, she was in X. So I love her as an actress. She's really good. She's an upcoming Scream queen. I do consider her a Scream queen. She does a really good job. I do think she needs to do a little more variant on how she either articulates or how she does her body language, whatever it is, in different characters. She needs to really kind of now in Wednesday, she really did embody that character. That was I don't think they could have chosen anybody else but her. But everything else just kind of runs together a little bit as far as that goes. But I think with the more of the scenes that she gets and the more of the movies she gets, I think she'll get a little bit better. That's just my opinion.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay.
Right?
I like that. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us in for another episode of Come Play with Us, Danny, the horror movie review podcast and news show. Make sure to go to our YouTube page and subscribe and hit that notification bell at Come Play with Us, Danny show. Drew, thanks for joining on the show and going through Longlegs with us, even though you did like that movie. We won't fault you.
Thank
there.
you, guys. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome. Well, thank you guys for joining us in. Be sure to look out for our next episode, which will come sometime soon. I don't
Maybe
know when.
before Halloween. Maybe we can pull.
Yeah, maybe for-
let's do a pre-Halloween one.
Would love
Okay,
to.
we can do that.
Oh wait, was I being invited or just did I invite
No,
myself?
you're invited.
No, you're
invited.
True, you're always invited.
You're
to.
always invited. So let's try to do a pre-Halloween one.
You know, I think since Maxine, the last of the X trilogy, is going to be on streaming, like I think today. I think maybe we should review Maxine.
I'll have to.
I can talk Maxine. I loved it.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, so
I haven't seen it yet, so we can watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Be on the lookout. We'll see you guys next time on Come Play with Us. Hey.
Bye.